Hello, creation. It's a giddy laugh, isn't it? um, um, I've not written anything, but I was just. It's just thinking back, you know, just a little bit of reminiscing. Um, so it's just, thinking back to when we were little children, when we were little boys, on the council estate where I grew up, and how we used to. We were lucky enough that, our parents never had much, to be honest, in those days. They all worked, and they did the best. They all did the best for the children, for the families. There was the odd one or two who had a car up on the estate, in the early days when I was sort of a young child. And if ever I ended up having to be taken to hospital, which for a few times, it was my friend's dad, who was also my friend, who lived over the road, who used to run me through, and when I look back, there's been times when you've been working through energies and clearing, making way for what's to come, which is what we've all got to do with energies and old traumas and that. Once those are done, you look through a different lens and you can see things for how they were meant, which is to make you the human being that you are for what you've got to face, further down the line. And even though at the time it can be quite, we don't see those, we don't know the reasoning behind why things are happening. We just think that they're happening to us, because I don't know, for whatever reason, because we're coming from the mind, which is basically the ego self. So it's fight or flight. So as a young child, I spent a lot of time running, for home. I've mentioned this before. But when I look back, once you clear those things, that once you can get beyond those and you've released those that were in the way of you seeing the good times, shall we say, then you can see the sunshine that there truly was. Like the birthday parties where your mates came and and you'd play games. They'd all bring you a little toy, and in those days it was predominantly a matchbox car, or a few soldiers, or something, just a little toy, and we'd play games, and there'd be the parents there, not all would stay, some would go, but they only lived over the road, so there'd probably be about 5 or 6 kids there, and you'd play games. You'd have sandwiches, and you'd have your jelly and ice cream afterwards, or jelly and carnation milk. It used to be in those days. And then out would come the bowl of water with the apple bobbing about, and you had to take a bite of the apple, or the pass the parcel, and we'd be passing the parcel, and then when the music stopped, you had to tear a layer off, and then the music would start again, and that'd be it. Or there'd be that way with the chairs, when one chair would be taken away, you'd be walking round in a circle, and when the music stopped, you had to sit on a chair, and if you didn't sit down, you were out. You know, little fair-haired kids, and you know, which we predominantly all were in them days. I mean, there were myself, there were well, there's 1, 2, 3, there were 4. There were 4 that I can think of. We were just total blondies, little blondies, you know. And it was the sun shone, you know, the sun shone. Yeah, when I look back at that. And obviously when it were their birthdays, you know, it'd be over to their home to have the party, you know. It was good. It was good. It was good. Yeah. And I may well have mentioned this before in one of my previous videos, but one of my favourite memories was going down, and it was about, I would have said it was probably a mile, 3/4 of a mile away from home. Maybe 3/4 of a mile. So you'd go down. There was a football pitch, and it was the recreation ground, and down the back of the rec, it was like I mean, it wasn't, and it's a nature reserve now. It's all overgrown now, but in them days, it was lovely. And we used to go and have a picnic, and we'd be like 4 and 5 years old, you know. And the parents would just let us go, and you know, because they were different days then. It was a different time then. And we'd take our little lunch boxes and with our sandwiches in, and our little, you know, bottle of pop to drink. Yeah, and our little, you know, chocolate biscuit for afterwards. It was fantastic. It was great. When I look back, there was a lot of sunshine. A lot of sunshine. Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of silly times, you know. There were a lot of reckless times growing up. But there were lots of good times, lots of fun times. And I think as the years pass, we can lose sight of that, because life can tend to, when you get wrapped up in all the illusion, really, we can get lost, can't we? Get lost. But we can. And that's where we have to find ourselves again. Unfortunately, sometimes it can take a long time for us to do that. But what I say to you is, regardless of what you're working your way through, you know, eventually you will get through it, and eventually you will see those good days, and you will see that sun shining, and you will remember those happy memories, you know. You will. We have to put the work in, because if we don't put the work in, we'll always be under that cloud. We'll always be the, you know, the pessimist, won't we? And not the optimist. We'll always see the cup as being half empty, not half full. So, if we do the work, then we can get beyond the clouds, and we can see that beautiful sunshine, and remember those nice memories, and we can see things from a different point of view. Anyway, that's it for now. I just wanted to share this with you. Alright, take care.